Hello guys, today is the 14th day of our coding challenge using mobile phone, and our task for today is a simple quiz app, object, loops, and event handler. So let's get our SPCK as Spark editor, and this is our previous code. So we need to clean it up. Sorry. Let's just quick close it. And then here, let's create a new file. And the file name is going to be as wizard.js. Let's alert load it over here. So as you can see, our app is working. So remember, we are doing everything dynamical, and we are going to create our container. And then the name of container, the name of here, just name it container. Sorry, I need to just name it container. So we are creating an element, and we are just going to name it container. Then we are going to create the elements. Document.create elements. And here we are creating a div element. So after this, we are going to append this to the body. So we are just going to say document.body append child. And then the child is going to be this container. So after this, we are going to import our quiz. So here I have some dummy quiz data here. So let's take it here, copy it to this place, and then we copy and go to the quiz app, then paste it. So you can see it's just an array with the object inside it. So we have quiz data, question, option, then the answer, the correct answer. So here right now, after we get this, we are going to start coding. And before that, we are going to get the current index. So we are just going to say current index, which is going to be equal to 0, because we want the first index, which is this one. So this is what we are going to get with our current index. So after this, we are going to do through it. We are going to create a function, and I'm going to use arrow function. You can use normal function if you want, but this is just what we are going to use to render the equations. So we are just going to say render questions, and we click arrow. Then we are going to get the current question, which is the first question. So we are just going to say const first question. It's going to be this current index. We are going to get the quiz data. I'm going to say equals to quiz data, and then we use array, and add this current index inside it. Right now, if we log out this first index, we are going to get the first index of the array. Remember that the first index starts with 0. So let's log it and see what we have. We are logging the first index. Then we view it. Right now, nothing happened. Let's just okay. The reason is because we are not loading the function. We are not calling the function. So just call the function over here and try again. So you can see we get the first index, which is what is the output of a console log type 42. So if you go up here, you can see that is exactly what we have here. You understand? So let's get rid of this first index. And what you are going to do, what we are going to do next is that we are going to create elements. We are going to create elements that will list the questions for us. You understand? So what we are just going to do is we are going to say just going to say question element. But before this, make sure say you have your const before you call it. This is JavaScript, not Python. So we are just going to say question element is going to be equals to document.create elements. Since we are doing it dynamical, let me copy this so it will be very, very fast for us to do. So we're just going to put this here over here. And this question element is going to be H1. This element is going to be H1. So once we get the question element, we are going to say question element.text content is going to be equals to then question element dot text content. That is going to be equals to correct question dot questions. You understand? So we need this. That is the first question. It's going to be equals to first question dot question. So let's paste this first question dot questions. I believe it is question. So that first question dot question. So after we get our first question dot question, then we are going to append the quiz. We are going to so after we get the correct question, what we are going to do is that we are going to append this into this question that we created here. So let's just call this container dot append child, and that child is going to contain this question elements. So let me separate it so we can see it clearly. So right now, if we view this thing right now, we are going to get all the questions. We are getting the first question. H2, and this H1 is actually to give. Let me use H4 because we are doing this on mobile. So we get this first question. And something that I forgot to do is that we need to put this inside if statements. You understand? So let me cut it. And before everything, I want to check if current index is less than quiz data dot length. Then we will start coding. So we are going to create another function to check for the result. That is when we are going to check the else statement. So we are just going to check else. Else we are just going to log high for now. Later we are going to put the quiz result inside it. So yeah, we are just going to log high for now in case this is greater than the length. Understand? Okay. So you can see it is not greater than the length. That's why we are saying this. If it's greater than the length, then we are going to see high. So the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to, since we are displaying the current index, since we have this, we really need to display his options, the answers, and we are going to use it in we are going to put it inside button, yeah, so that people can choose. What we are going to do right now is that after we use this container dot append child, below it, we are going to check for the option list. So we are just going to say const ul is going to be equals, that is the unordered list. So we're just going to say you make it to be equal to document.createElements. So let me copy this one that we already have here so that it will be fast. Let me copy it here. Then the element we are going to create is the UI element. UL element. So after this, we are going to look through the current we are going to look through the current index. That is the first index. We are going to look through the first index. So we are just going to say first question is going to be dot. I think in this question we have options. So we are going to say dot options. I remember that this option is in this thing. Is in array. So we are just going to look through it because it's array. Then dot options dot for each of them. Then we are just going to get only option, and then we use a arrow function. So here we are going to create the list himself. Oh yeah, we are going to create list and the button. So let me copy this thing that this code over here, and then inside this our first option loop. Let me paste it here, and this instead of UI, then we use li, and then here also change it to li, and then let's create another one again, and then this is going to be button, then change it to button. So after creating this, we are going to make sure that the button.text context is going to be equal to the option that we have over up here. It will be equal to option. And after this, we need to add event listener. So after creating this button and the li, we need to append them inside this ul, because ul is the parent. So we are just going to say ul dot append child, and the first child is going to append is the li. After that, then li is also the parent, is going to be parent of this button. So we are just going to say li dot append child, and it's going to have the button. So, and remember again, and then after we get all this out of this loop, out of this loop, we are going to append this guy to the container up here, the ul. We are going to put it inside the container of ul. So we are just going to say container dot append child, and the child is going to be the ul. Hope you understand. If I the UL here we created over here is parent to LI. LI is parent to button. You understand? That's why we put a LI inside the UL, and then we put a buttons inside LI, and then container is parent of them all. So we just append it. Then since a container is parent to UL, that's why we are appending it inside this container after the loops. So let's check and see what we have. And this we are assignment to constant variable. So let me check where the problem can be from. Okay, our problem is here. So if you did this, please delete it. This is this place, delete this one. And also delete this one. This is very, very messed up. Also delete this one. I believe that's all. Because we copy, anytime you want to copy something, please always make sure that you do your verification very, very well. So now let's check again. And as you can see, we have this, we have 4 buttons. So if you like, you can style it. Or let me pause this video and style it and we come back. Okay, welcome back. So as you can see, I've already do some styles. I have some margin and I have some padding, the width and the border. So if we view it right now, you can see, say, this is what we have now. So right now, what we need next is to make sure, say that when we click this button, it will check if the answer is correct or not. If it's correct, then we are going to make use of that here. But before that, we are going to create another function. So let's create it below here. And we are just going to say const, let's just call it answers, answer select. You can name it whatever you want. Answer select 30 is going to be equals to select. So it's going to have what we call parameter. So that's what I put there. Then here we are going to say we are going to get the current question, just as we did up here, which is let's just call it, here we called it a first question. So it is here. Here we called it first question. So let me copy it over here because it's the same thing that we need up here or down here. So after we get the correct question from the quiz data, we are going to use if a statement to check if they are equal to the selected parameter over here. So we are just going to check if selected, that is selected option, if the selected option is strictly equal, 3 times, is strictly equal to the current question, the first question over here, that is dot answer, right? Let me check what the quiz distance says. What is going to be dot answer. If it's equal to the answer, That is the correct answer. I'm sorry, I just write answer. I was doing this thing very, very fast. That's why I have to do this. So yeah, if it's equals to this, we need a score. We need to call a score. So here, down here, we are just going to come over here and say const score. Is going to be equals to 0. So here, let's copy over it here. And this is it's not going to be the cost. It's not going to be const, it's going to be late. So we just want to increase the score. So let's paste it here. And then we are just going to say plus plus. And after this check, then we are going to say first question also should be go to the next one. But before we make this thing to go to the next one, we need to do something. So it's going to be first question plus plus. And then once you have this plus plus, make sure you change this guy over here. This, instead of const, we are going to change it to late. You understand? If not, we are going to have a problem. So let's copy it and replace this first question to this correct index. Then we are going to call this guy over here. We are going to call it inside this place. So you can re-render it again. And then after that, the answer question answer in itself, we are going to carry it and then come over here inside our button. This place that we have button. Let me put it before we append. Let's paste it over here. Oh, sorry. Let's cut it. And then we are going to call this button dot add event listener. And that listening going to be click events. And this click event, we are just going to get function. And this arrow function. Then we are going to call answer selected. This function that we created here, which is answer selected. We call it, you remember that is a function. So here, this option that we created here, the loop that we looked through, we are going to put it inside it because this is the option we want to select. So here right now, let's just use this function and just understand that this is a placeholder for this option over here. This selected here is placeholder for this option over here. So after that, we are going to display it, and we also need to display our result. You understand? We also need to get the result. So the result is what we are going to put here. You understand? The result is what we are going to put here. But if not, let me check something. But this, we don't want it to be like this. So one thing we are going to do to solve this problem is that we are going to come over here before we loop inside this render question. We are going to come over here and get this container dot inner HTML, and it's going to be equals to empty option. So once we answer the question, it's going to go to another one. So which array method return new array, and that's going to be map But if I just click for each, but what so here right now, if we answer, it's going, once it finish, it's going to say hi. So as you can see right now, we are finished. Then it is console.login hi because it is equals to 0. But one thing we are going to do here is that that is the hi we put here over here. So what we are going to do right now is that we are going to show our result. So to do that, we are going to come down there. After this answer select, we are going to come down again. Then we create a function, and that function is going to be the result. You understand? So the results we are going to say, just say const. Let's call it a result is going to be equals to this, and this does not have any parameter. And here we are just going to say, we are going to call this guy over here the container. So we want to put the result inside this container. So we are just going to say container dot inner HTML is going to be equals to template string. So here, let's just create something like a H2. So this H2, we are just going to say, let's say finish quiz or finished. Let's say quiz finished, and below the finish, we are going to have our P. So this, let's change this to P, a paragraph. And this paragraph is just going to say, you are going to give you your score. Your score is, then we call the score that we have over here as we have over here. After we get the score, we are going to say out of. Let's put it inside this P, out of. So this is the quiz data. Dot length. Now let's check it again and see what we are going to have. So the first question says what is the output of console.log type of 42? So type of 42, okay. let's say it can be it can be a number, and which method returns a new array. Let's say it is map, and what is the result of 5 equals to 5, and 5 of string equals to 5. Let's say it can be true and var. Still saying hi. Okay, because it's saying hi, the reason is because we have not called this quiz app over here. This place, let's call it here. And we are going to have problems. We are going to have some problems. So let me copy this over here. Let me cut it. And let's paste it top here. Let's place it top here at the first to avoid the hosting. So right now, let's check again. If we choose like number, we choose like map, we choose true, and a variable, let's just say, it say which key declare a block scope. It's a var, late or scope. Okay, yeah, let's just say like it is var. That's it. We lost 1, and then we score 3. Here it says finished. So you see that the app is actually working. Understand? It's working. So we failed the last one. We failed the last one. So you check the number, check the map, check it's true, and you check late. Then now we have a 4/4. Okay, guys.